Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And are stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and all I want to do is eat cartoon food, baby. Put it in my mouth.
I'm John Gilardi, and I don't get excited very much, so I don't have to worry about turning into animals.
I constantly am turning into... I'm constantly
What
turning
would
into
you turn
animals because
into?
I get excited.
What's your ancestral
Probably-
animal?
My ancestral animal? Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, the red panda is this family's ancestral animal, so
Aminal?
let's see.
Um...
I'm Tommy Pickles.
Well, aminals. What would be... So what is ancestral... So we're from, like, the Spanish... Originally, we're, like, the Baskervilles, but, like, we're from French... I guess a dog of some sort.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at like Norwegian fauna. I'm getting a lot of dogs. There's a muskox, but I don't know if that's not
Ooh, I feel like you'd be a good muskox.
Yeah, but there's badgers and otters too. There's a stoat. What's a stoat?
Ooh, a stoat is
That's
like
like a weasel.
like a thick weasel. It's like a thick, sexy weasel. Yeah, here I am. I got opinions on all sorts of ermine type creatures.
You know, you're the expert, the
God,
podcast expert for whenever we
Well,
talk
no.
about those things.
Well, here's the thing: did you ever read any of the Brian Jacques books, like Redwall,
No.
Moss Flower, or any of those things?
Oh, is that yeah, okay. I
So
didn't
that's-
read it, but I always like the pictures, aka
Yeah.
the cover.
Yeah,
And that's
So-
all I got from it.
I fucking devoured those books. And so I got to learn about all different sorts of like lowland British or like European, like sort of like rodent animals, like polecats, ermines, like, because they're all like a polecat is essentially a weasel. Like they're all like different versions of weasels. And then like there's stoats, and like the ones like that would be the evil ones. And then the badgers were like pretty good, but then sometimes there'd be a bad badger, but they'd always end up being pretty good. Adders. So that's why I am the expert in how the animals behaved in Brian Jacques' books.
That should have been your intro. But
Well, I didn't
anyways,
know. I
we
didn't
watched,
know. I didn't know that. Here we are.
And here we are talking about Turning Red, the
Turning
latest
Red.
Pixar movie. It's
Is it the latest? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it literally just came out. It's a Pixar movie, obviously Disney Plus, so you can go watch it now, which is cool.
Watch it
Granted,
now.
you have a subscription, and it's a movie about essentially a coming of age movie of this teenage girl and her mom. They had a really close, tight relationship growing up, and obviously as you turn into a teenager, you know that kind of shit changes. A lot of dynamics going on, and it's exploring that. You know, it's just the evolution of finding who you are, and the evolution of your relationship. Because not a parent here, so can't speak to it, but it's something I can comprehend, at least on a surface level. Is that, you know, that relationship with a toddler, you know, just as they become more independent, you know, however that is along a spectrum, the relationship inevitably changes, and I think that's kind of what it's touching on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I think that it's definitely, for me, what this movie is like about is like just becoming your own person through the sort of, and then still sort of honoring your parents. So it's like, and then also as like a parent watching it, I'm not a parent, but like if I was a parent watching it, I'd be like, you know, being able to let go and be there for your kids. I don't know. It's cool. I really liked this movie.
Was it? I don't know if it's,
but it's a lot of identity and sort of like, it's very identity like, and like as you sort of like taking what your parents have, taking what your family's offered you, and then sort of like honoring that in your own sort of way, but then also having your own identity through that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
I think it's a really cool look on that. And it made me think of like a thought of like, you know, I think there's varying degrees. You know, you can have families who are really close, who live in the same town. You can have family who are really close and they live far away, they keep in touch, or you can kind of get further and further away from that. But it's like there's plenty of very healthy relationships between parents and kids that at a certain point they maybe see each other once a year, maybe every other year, and it's just so crazy that, I don't know, just like picture yourself holding a newborn baby to think, I'm not going to see them, I'm going to barely see them later on. We're going to be our own people completely, you know, they're going to have their own life, you know, and all these different things. And like that obviously develops maybe roughly around this teenage time. And I don't know, it made me think about that.
Especially if you have like a close knit, you have a close knit sort of family unit where it's like, you know, all of a sudden it's like things are happening without you. I know that it's like to obviously a lesser degree, like me and my brother. My brother's now, he's like living out in LA, and I had this sort of like realization, I don't, maybe like relatively recently, as he was like, I went to go visit him, and it was just like, he's living his own life. He would like, when we went to go look at things and like go out to eat, it's like the ideas that he had about where to go to eat were completely different than the one that I expected, because of the brother that again, still the same person, but it's like the expectation that I had based off of, like, it just changed. I'm stumbling over my words here because I'm like having a thought where it's like,
I guess it's like he's in his element, in his new life, you know, as it were, and him being back home, you know, it's not necessarily that he's changed or he's a different person. Maybe it's more that
just new things are important to him.
In his element.
Yeah, it's just new things are important to him than like the expectation that I like innately had based off of what, you know, when we were living together or whenever, like a long time ago, you know, in a galaxy far away.
So you're telling me he didn't want to play Lord of the Rings with you? That's what this means.
He didn't want to play. He was like, all right, listen, if we're going to play Lord of the Rings, I'm going to be an elf. I'm not going to be one of the dwarves. And I'm not going to let you just be Aragorn and Legolas. I want to be...
and drag me in a wagon.
Yeah. I'm not going to be the hobbits for you.
Well,
I'm taller than you now.
In a similar but not also thing, like on my end, like I'm the oldest of four. My two middle siblings are both having kids pretty much around the same time this summer. And like before kids are in the picture, you know, we could always go on trips and everyone can go everywhere and visit each other and vacations and I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But like, and like, or we could like, if we're all hanging out, we can all, you know, get drunk or whatever. I don't know. But now that there's going to be two babies in the mix, you know, that just changes everything, and that's life. And you know, there's awesome things that come with kids. But it's not so much missing the old times. It's more just the realization, like there's a paradigm shift in what the last 10 years have been of us together, you know. But it's also like there was a shift when we weren't, you know, when we were teenagers, you know, we were actually further away, you know, and that's why the shift into becoming adults and drinking and partying and not that drinking has to be the focal point, but it's just
being adults together. That's like, I mean, especially like sort of Americanized version of it, where it's like that's definitely part of it, where we could all sort of go out and get hammered and then like have that shared experience together, or like go out like anytime and then like we all get to have this adult experience together that you've sort of like, you know, and it doesn't have to be like revolved around drinking, but it like going out and being an adult and like being able to buy things, and it's like, oh my gosh, my brother's he's just gonna get guess what? He's just gonna get a full funnel cake because you know what? He has a job and he can get his own funnel cake, you know, or whatever. And it's like, man, do you remember the time that my brother got we got the giant panda and like we like got people to take pictures with it, and it's like living out things that you would kind of do, especially like as like brother or sister or whatever, where it's like living out things that you would sort of have wanted to do as like a teenager, but you didn't have the money and or you didn't have like sort of the awareness in the world to be able to just like, we're just going to do this and we're going to enjoy it and we're going to be here in the place that we are doing this silly thing as adults together.
No, exactly. I think that puts it better in a way that isn't. I guess drinking was the shorthand, but it was also a shorthand that because I didn't know how to express it. I think you nailed it there. What I was trying to say. But yeah, how about you? How about you summarize Turning Red? We kind of explained. We went pretty deep into some theming, so we kind of have talked about what it's about. But what's the kind of the plot, the like summary, characters and the stakes and what's going on?
All right, so
I'm flipping it. I'm asking you this time.
Yeah. I know. We're flipping it around a little bit. So, Maylin is a 13-year-old girl who is, by all accounts, killer daughter. Like on paper, killer daughter, killing it. She comes home. She loves hanging out with her parents, doing the stuff, or at least it seems that way. She feels that way. She loves like excelling in school, just straight up killing it, helping out at the temple. I was really glad. Anyway, hold on. And then when she turns 13, she turns into, or sometime within the course of her 13th year, she turns into a giant red panda. And then they have to confront that. And figure out how they're going to deal with that. And there's this like very old ancient ritual where they bind the panda and, they go about discovering their own unique choices. And we sort of delve into the relationship between the mothers and the daughters in this whole family.
Yeah, I think
is that anything? Was that all right? Was that something?
Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah, essentially, the gimmick more or less. The one that attract in theory the younger audience is it's a story where a girl turns into a panda when she gets excited.
Yeah.
And
damn it,
and then explores the deeper
that's
themes.
why you do it because I went too far and I feel like you hit it. You hit it right there with that sentence.
Yeah. But so that's
that's
it.
I'm better than you with that. Yep, that's true.
And it deals with like coming of age things, truly as becoming your own person, but also there's a lot of essentially, I guess, the dumb it down puberty stuff too, which is handled in a pretty funny way, I guess. And obviously the panda thing being a huge metaphor to that in a very loose term. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just interesting to see a Disney movie and a Pixar movie address these things the way they did, and it felt super 2022, I guess. I don't know how to say that. And I don't say that with any negative connotation. I'd say that like tonally it was so good, and it totally respectful and understandable, super funny too at times, great imagery.
I thought that it did a really good job. I mean, I think this movie does a really good job with a lot of things, but I thought that it did a really good job of handling the like demystifying the sort of like first period thing in some sort of sense. At least to me, again, as a straight white dude who's never had a period, who's never had any sort of experience similar to that. But I felt like it handled it in a way where it's like it like touched it. It didn't make it like a scary, weird, crazy big thing, but also was like, hey, listen, we're not going to like completely have this conversation,
Yeah.
But we're going to like, we're going to give it enough so that it's like, it's justified, but then also not going to make it like the center point of it, which I think that I've seen like people are like, oh, it's obviously, it's like, yeah, I mean, it is, but it's also, it's about so much more than that,
Yeah. Like, again, like obviously puberty allegory, and we've talked about it more to this point. I think, foremost, it's a coming of age. It's becoming an adult at large, and so that's why it's just a part of it, or why it's not directly tackled. I think it's like just this all-encompassing thing of changing,
Because you know what? It's a part about being a human at 13, Yeah. It's just part of it. And so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be like demonized, and it's I don't know, I think they do a good job of not demonizing it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I also love too.
I have it in the background, and it's the scene with the drawings that she did.
Oh my god,
the mermaid thing. And the fact that it's like an anime style, I don't know. It reminds me so much of my girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's so many cool little anime references in this.
May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many cool little anime references. Like even the dad, like they have done such a good job between Rhea and making that broth in the beginning, and then the dad
stuff.
cutting up the food.
We can talk about the movie artistically.
Oh my gosh! And then like all the references.
It just has. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just all the references. Like even in that scene where his like glasses fog up and he's like the anime guy with the fogged up glasses. I was like, that's fucking great right there. I don't know. It
definitely, stuff like that makes it feel like it's made by people who love. I mean, it's made genuinely by. All the actors are predominantly Asian, and all these. And I'm sure the crew, and I think is it Rosalie Chang? That's the actress.
She's the actress.
Who directed it?
The director is Domi Shi, which I could totally be fucking that name up. I apologize.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just felt very authentic, and not because of those who made it. It's just like. This is something that they really love telling. This is their story. This is what they're relating to.
Yeah.
All these elements of different Asian cultures, I mean, I guess, I don't know, compared to like, The Emperor's New Groove or The First Milan, like all these movies made in the 90s I don't know. It's just different, I guess.
Yeah.
And so
I think even it's just made with love. Like
I was about to say the touch of love is there, and it makes all the difference. And it just, these stories are always earnest and heartwarming, I guess, but now it's even taken up, like all that talent and magic that Disney does is, taken up a notch now that there's that true love in here. And you definitely get this from this movie.
Yeah. Well, especially with, not even just with all the anime stuff, but I think too, there's such an interesting, and I was so glad the first time that Mei Lin went to the temple. Like, I was so glad that she was excited to be there and was excited to participate in these things, and like that they weren't gonna like do like, because we've seen that where it's like, oh, my mom's making me do this stuff, blah 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 blah, and I'm so glad that the story that they ended up telling was much more unique to this family and less about like that. They also, again, talking about the art style, they did such a good job of sort of blending that line of putting us in Mei Lin's perspective, where it's like we feel how she's feeling based on how they do the art, whether it's like sort of like the anime eyes or any of the things, or like we just feel it. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the fur looks amazing. And I even like the different style. Like, obviously there's a style and cohesion here, but like for some reason, May, like her mouth shape is very Wallace and Gromit. And it's a fun look, I guess, artistically and in motion. And then her mom almost like has like a 2D face, I guess. Like,
yeah.
In a sense, it's hard to explain.
In the scene where she's discovering the drawings, the mom's face goes through such a range of emotions. I love it.
And I don't know what they did with like the rig or whatever, but I think it's the eyes. I don't, like in terms of the depth and how they relate to the face. They almost feel like kind of like the eyes in Cars. You know how they're kind of like like they move. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I don't know how
I think
to,
I know.
don't
I
word it.
think
It's
I know
really
what you're
cool.
talking about. But again, it's much like I feel like in some of the, I feel like this movie, and it's been I haven't gone through and like rewatched all the Pixar movies to like base this fact on anything. But I feel like in this movie they blended the like the. And maybe it's like also too because we watched Akira, where it's like sort of blending of the like dream and like the fact that this is a cartoon. We can do whatever we want with it. You know, we can make this look how we want it to look. So the eyes on Ming's face, the mom, can be like, can show us deeper than, because we've got our cartoon, can show us deeper than what an actual actor's face would be able to show us, and can show us better than whatever her words that she would say would show us.
Or even, and then on, like again, I touched on May's mouth because it gets huge relative to her body, her head size, right? And they can do that because it's animated, it's whatever, and it's like because she's very like the whole character element of switching to a panda is being very excited, you know, that excitable thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm dumbing it down, but like her mouth when it gets huge, when she's scared or excited or laughing, whatever. I don't know. It's just, again, you can do whatever the hell you want, and it can help tell the story too, or help the method through what it's being told visually. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I love the visuals on this, and again, it continues that trend I'm liking of the more 2D look. But 3D. It's just so cool for me. I love looking at it. I don't know. Like this has it very slightly, but obviously Arcane and Klaus and to some degrees
Like
Mitchell's
Into the
vs.
Spider-Verse
Machines as well.
and stuff.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's just so cool. I love the way it looks. And maybe that's me trying to pick it out in this.
I think it's
I
just
don't know.
how reactive the characters look. Not that they haven't been reactive before. I don't know. They feel so much more alive and present. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something that's...
And obviously they're getting good at what they do. These animators and modelers and all these people that do animation got so much appreciation for that stuff. I've dabbled, and it's mind-blowing how good they are, and that they can look and understand movement to this degree, and I don't know, it's crazy.
Well, and I think too, and you know, I could also be totally fucking off base here, but I feel like they're getting whatever that book is. They're getting that book more like hey, here's the Pixar look. Here are the things that you have to stick within, and then it's getting more like cohesive, because I feel like the movies that I've seen they're getting more and more unique, like per the director or like the story that they're telling, like where it's like it's getting more unique to the story while still maintaining the sort of like cohesion of the sort of like Pixar vibe, but then they're still they're like figuring out how to play more within it and to make it more.
Well, it's like, think of like the mid 2000s 3D animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all look the same when you think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not till like, you know, like I think like the animated shorts always had it. They always pushed the way that stuff looked. But in terms of mainstream, I don't know if I think of anything big until Spider-Verse, like in terms of just going stylized.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Big Hero 6. Again, I have only seen that once. I mean, okay, so think of Shrek. Shrek.
Maybe Brave.
Shrek looks like the same. Well, Brave? No, Brave is...
No, Brave kind of sticks. They just like... They're like... It's like incremental up until Spider-Verse, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all the Pixar movies.
Me too.
And they all, in terms of like that style, don't vary much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Toy Story, Good Dinosaur, Monsters, Incredibles, Finding Dory, like they all look like Pixar movies, which is fine. But like, you also had other DreamWorks movies that didn't didn't really push the envelope in terms of style. Again,
Yeah.
Madagascar, Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon,
Ice
Boss Baby,
Age.
Megamind, Ice Age, The Croods, like even Rise of the Guardians. Like there is no like style to it
Yeah.
necessarily. Like obviously there's like motifs and tone and direction and look. Even that Trolls movie, like there's color. There's lots of color.
Yeah.
But there's no style. You know,
I feel
Klaus,
like Soul.
Spider-Verse.
Soul also did that.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse definitely, but Spider-Verse is still its own thing. I think that pushed it for
I
people.
think Soul pushes it not so much
Whenever we get to
style-wise, but I think it's so real. Like it's like hype. Like they push the real kind of neo-realist kind of look, I guess, and it feels different in that sense. But there's still stylization with, you know, some of the characters are pretty stylized, and like the cat's a fat cartoon cat, and the little spirit things, you know, too. But
yeah,
yeah,
I think the outer world in Soul is a very new stylistically, and I think too it's funny because like
I guess Coco, but again, Coco it's colors and it's
Mhm.
drawing from, you know, like a kind of
it's kind of like what if a Pixar character was a skeleton? That's kind of where Coco is.
But I mean,
to me.
the afterlife is very colorful and cool.
Yeah.
But again, I guess like the differentiating factor is not that stuff. It's the texture and pushing different styles of the art itself.
Yeah. But this one stylistically
like,
reminds me of Mitchell versus the Machines, where it feels like it's much more in touch with the specificness of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it's a Pixar movie. I don't know. It doesn't look like a Pixar movie, and that's not an insult. Like I think that's why.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I
think
love
that's different.
I
Like
love
Coco.
the mom
Coco
in
looks like a
this.
Pixar movie, but the tech and the style and the sheen that it has, it just looks like a Pixar movie, I guess. So
Yeah.
even it wasn't a Pixar movie, but Encanto. It just that also kind of didn't push style, and it doesn't have to. You know what I mean? But I mean, it has style. I don't know. Like I don't know how to verbalize what I'm talking about. I guess the animation, computer graphics themselves, and how they look and move.
Yeah.
Is what I'm referencing.
I think I know what you're talking about, because it's like you see it after a certain point where they sort of become. I mean, it's tied to whenever I'm trying to look up the feature films from Disney Animation, where it's like they
I mean, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, Frozen, Tangled, Encanto, Raya.
Yeah, I mean after they switch away from after Princess and the Frog, they all sort of like Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zootopia, Moana, like they're all sort of like, all right, we've bought Pixar and we're gonna sort of we're gonna stick with the good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's
Yeah.
like Disney, and maybe that's maybe that's something that Pixar is doing, because like in terms of maybe that's why they're going for this different. I'm gonna call it sheen. Sheen's gonna be the word I plug in. Like,
Okay.
That's why they're maybe going for different sheen. You know, because Disney animation movies, for all intents and purposes, look like how Pixar movies have looked like. You know,
Yeah.
Like I had to pause. Like, wow, Pixar came out 2 movies that back to back. Not back to back, but relatively speaking, with Encanto and this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait a minute, Disney animation. And I was like, when you mentioned Raya, I was like, yes, Pixar movie. I was like, no, wait a minute. You know, so
Yeah.
maybe that's something. Maybe that's kind of intentional. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's intentional because they're like sort of like unifying the brand, and I feel like, yeah, I think the only difference now between Disney and Pixar now is like the storytelling style. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's necessarily true.
I don't know about that, but I just don't have enough information. I've seen all these movies, but I haven't analyzed them and studied them in the sense that I would need to make this opinion. But,
Yeah.
I do theorize, conspiracy theory level, like maybe that's a direction Pixar's going. You know, they're seeing movies like what Sony's doing, you know,
Yeah.
or Klaus again. And it's also like, this looks fun. Let's push the technology. Let's push how we can make it look cool, you know? And
Yeah.
it differentiates us. Like, because Sony has, or whatever that studio that Sony has that's done those movies, the Spider-Man and Mitchell's, you know, that, like, if I was in that world, I would be envious of creating and exploring and pushing stuff that way that they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
So my conspiracy theory is that's what Pixar's doing.
I like it. It's a good conspiracy theory.
Thank you.
I think that too, because Disney owns Pixar now, that it's definitely something where they're like, hey, let's steal this Disney, like, let's take this Pixar style that you've sort of like set up, and we're going to establish that as like our general style, because it feels like it's pleasing to look at and like people like it. And then Pixar is probably in the process of like, ooh, now we have this sort of like big safety net. They can push the envelope in ways that they want to now a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just saying the
Then we
same
have
thing that
Lightyear
you're
coming
saying,
out,
but then different.
And that looks, yeah. Well, I guess Luca, yeah, but Luca's Pixar. Luca definitely had some fun visual stuff, if I remember right. I only saw it once, but I feel like there's some fun visual sheen to it. If I remember right.
I think that, I don't know. I watched Luca, but I was very sleepy when I watched it. And
You should rewatch it. It's a good one.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, Luca has a very 2D look. That's right. It has a very 2D claymation look, which is cool.
What do you think about Lightyear? Just switching gears real quick, just because I'm looking at the...
Well, now Lightyear doesn't look like it. Looks more like a Disney animation style movie. But they are going for something, like, again, maybe Soul touched on it more with the IRL kind of settings. But
yeah.
It's very stylized. Like, they don't look like real humans, but it does have a more real tone to it, I guess.
I'm fascinated by
rather
Lightyear.
than the other ones. Yeah.
I'm fascinated because it's like, is this a movie that would exist within the Toy Story universe? Like, it's a movie, because it's not.
I think it's supposed to.
Yeah, like this is like, hold on. You're making a movie about a character that you made you're making a backstory for a character that is made a toy in another one of your movies.
I'm pretty sure that. I mean, that's what I read. One of the producers, or who knows.
That's cool. I like, honestly, as like someone who has come up with who came up with like a storyline for a game that I put in a sketch so that we could write a sketch. The game's called Werewolf Magistrate. You go around and you have to make sure that werewolves sign their papers so that everybody knows where all the werewolves are, and it's just like a paper pushing game. And the sketch was about that.
That could be made a game. Have you ever heard of Papers, Please?
I'm sure it is. You know,
I don't know. You got something there, and I can't imagine it'd be terribly hard. The guy who made Papers, Please, I'm pretty sure is a one-man team. So you as a visionary, I'm sure you could find an artist / programmer.
Probably.
A one for two guy, and you gotta
have to figure out how to write.
I mean, I think that would do well. Yeah,
Okay.
writing for games is an interesting concept because it's like not a branching thing, but it's like you're setting up parameters and options and stuff.
Well, which is like kind of like what I do, but in a shitty like for running D&D games. We're just having a conversation now, but for running D&D games, it's like you kind of do that, but I'm able to be the person who's like, all right, you make the choice, and then I get to like improvise with you. Whereas like if I'm writing for a game, what does that look like? And we can talk about that off air.
Yeah.
But
well,
turning red.
Let's continue the likes.
So
I think
I love the mom. I'm like rewatching
Yes,
the movie
okay,
in the
yeah, bring that
background,
back.
and I fucking love the mom because she goes so hard, and
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like
It just feels like love. Like obviously she's got controlling and where stuff where she has to like she's struggling and letting go, you know. And
and they just see from different perspectives too.
Yeah.
Where it's like especially in the beginning of the movie, she's never mad or like ashamed or anything. Either at her daughter going through puberty, she's getting there. She's like ready. Hell yeah, I got you. There's none of that, and she's there. She's excited to have her daughter. They like work together as a team, and then just having her there, like when she's like spying on her at school. It's so like I think the reason I love it so much is because it's like we have this idea of like this sort of straight-laced mean mom, whatever, and the fact that the mom is like also like insecure and like trying to be protective of her daughter and like doing that in a weird enough way to like, I guess it's embarrassing, but then also, what the fuck was that, John? Did you just sneeze? Well, now they know. Now they know you sneeze because
I muted myself and Patrick addressed it, so
it scared me. You did it right, and it was like right in my ear, and it scared me.
Anyways, yeah. No, I think it's interesting because the mom is such a cool character, and she's not the bad guy, but she's like the opposing force. And throughout the movie, you know, and that also changes,
but in such a supportive way.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And like, then obviously, then you do get the like classic kind of antagonist role of her being this giant panda, and they got to stop her because big bad, in a sense.
Yeah,
you know, dumbing it down. So it's like she's there on so many different scales as this kind of antagonist, but she's also like a really dope character, I guess. When I put it, like super designed super well, performed super well. The story and dialogue, everything is done so well that it's kind of steals the show, honestly, in a sense. But also May is so good too, and her friends are also great. It's just a
good movie,
very
motherfuckers.
well done in that regard. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, and again, as a 30-year-old person now, like something that I'm realizing, and that I hope everybody listening realizes, regardless of whatever age you are, is that like nobody really knows what they're doing. We just have more information to make choices off of. Where it's like, as the mom, she's still like scared of her mom and like doing the same thing where she's like, Mom, I got it, okay? They're the same thing. And it's just like, it was really cool to see it played out that way. I don't know. It fucking hit. It was good for me.
It's a good movie.
Good movie.
I don't really...
But...
honestly, don't have any negatives. It's not because, again, I've said this before. It wasn't a perfect movie, but also I can't think of any negatives. I have nothing. I have nothing. I liked it.
I don't think that it's. I wouldn't say that it's. I wouldn't say that it's a perfect movie, but it's really fucking good. And it's like, I think it's not perfect in the same way that like a lot of the like Pixar, Disney movies like aren't perfect movies or whatever, and it's only because like the ground they tread is ground that has been tread before. They're just doing it in new ways, so it's not like, I don't know, but that's not to say that you have to tread new ground everywhere you go to tell a cool story. I don't know what I'm saying, and I couldn't tell you why. It's like, I don't know, perfection is bullshit.
Yeah,
but it's a good movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I've been looking closely, and I like the 2D-ness I was talking about. Like wrinkles are 2D. So like when May smiles, she has like dimples that are, it's just shading. Or her mom, like, just under her, like
I noticed that with her under eye
is a shading. Yeah. And then especially when you do like the kawaii eyes, it's 3D looking, but it feels also flat. It's hard to, I don't know. Again, I've just been paying extra close attention. But yeah, I have an interesting segment that we can pull in.
Give it to us.
So this was my first exposure to reception of the film. There's someone on my feed on a social media app, and they're a parent. They're my age, but they're a parent. And I saw this, and I was like, huh, what the hell? Could this be? What's going on here? And it says, do not let your kid watch this movie. It is awful. Basically teaches your kid to act out and not listen. And it is just a grungy movie. And so they shared this off of another person saying, parents beware. So you ready for this doozy?
I'm ready.
Oh, man,
I think I found it.
it's a lot. Is it by a person with the initials FR?
Yeah.
All right. Let's alternate. I don't know. It's gonna be a lot to compress.
Here,
parents beware. I don't usually do this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll alternate. I'll tap out when I need a sec.
Yeah.
So parents beware. I do not usually do this because of the straight up ruthless and vicious hatred I've been getting below. But here we go. Okay, so that's just personal. Just a heads up to all the parents out there: the Disney movie Turning Red is not for kids at all. Especially not for families trying to keep their children close to Jesus. Yes, I know Disney movies don't instill Christian values, and I don't look at them do this. But typically, and I don't look to Disney movies to do this, but typically there are important and valuable lessons being taught in these movies. You'll find the complete opposite in this movie. Sad day, Disney. It had the potential to be so cute. Parents beware. Please, just a few things that stood out. Also, I want to just put in the disclaimer. Neither of us are parents. This is not a commentary on us being against religion or reading here with Christian values.
I just don't understand.
It's just trying to. It's more of a just. I don't know. I disagree, and I want to see what their thoughts are and see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting. So, do you want to start the first bullet that we see here?
Yeah, sure. The little girl talks about at age 13, you're your own person, an adult. You can do what you want, say what you want, etc.
So that's a bad thing?
That's
parents,
well, but then she's also talking to, like, again, within the context of the story, talking about like both the pressure that you should be an adult by the time you're 13, whatever the idea of that is, and then it's also like, no, you should have your own thoughts and feelings on things. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
yeah, big yikes there.
Big yikes, kids.
Again, this is not. I think a child can watch this. I'm not a parent, but I don't.
It's a fun movie.
I don't know. Like maybe should a 5-year-old watch this movie?
But also,
I don't
like,
think there's anything they'll take out from this.
But kids in movies do that all the time. They always talk like there's. This is not the first movie. This is not the first movie
American
where
thing.
Yeah. Like that's
like
when you're.
I'm going to assume they're fairly conservative. Typically very rah-rah patriotic American. And guess what's very American? Individualism. We're almost like individualistic fuckers on this planet. And so what's the disconnect there? Is this a weird control thing? Like it's very yikes.
All right, we got a lot of stuff to get through.
I don't know.
Her and her three. You got
her and her 3 friends talk so poorly about their parents and come up with a plan to sneak out to go to a boy band concert. I mean, that's an age-old teenage movie trope.
That's what they do. And also, I don't think that they talk that poorly about their parents, and I feel like the parents are portrayed whatever. It's just that's a bad take.
Yep.
The girls sneak out to a Coed Party as well to give boys rides as a panda to raise money for the concert.
It's supervised, and get your mind out of the gutter. Like it's
Also, I don't think that they give people rides as a panda, but I don't think that it's like we're gonna go give those boys rides. You're definitely putting your own thing on that, ma'am. Like that's definitely you putting that out there as far as you took it, being a little bit sensitive there.
One girl says her parent won't let her go because the band sounds like stripper music. Funny joke. You're sensitive because that's something you'd say too. Yep. The girls talk about going to the concert as girls but leaving as true women after.
Again, a common fucking trope. Like, how many times have we seen it? And you know what? Let me, how many times have we seen a movie about high school boys, super bad, fucking so many of them, about high school boys being like, this one event is going to make us men, like American Pie. And maybe it's because those are like wrong, but I feel like that's everywhere.
It's existed. Yeah.
And maybe
and I don't know, maybe there's a sensitivity because it's a Pixar animated movie, and there's the idea that any of these movies should be good for a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old to watch.
Yeah.
That's fair, I guess. So I don't know where to draw the line there in terms of like this stuff, but it's interesting. Like the word crap is used.
Yeah.
Like
that's the next one.
Fair. Like maybe I wouldn't want my 3 to 5-year-old. I don't know. I also don't give a shit, but I'm trying to put myself in that position.
but other movies have used, like, it feels like it's singling it out for weird reasons.
Yeah, there's plenty of movies by Disney Animation and Pixar that probably have the word crap in it. I wouldn't.
So much emphasis is put on her friends, encouraging her to be this new rebel she has become and embracing it, that she no longer has to be the straight edge overachiever girl under her parents' wing. It's more like be who you truly are rather than be who you're expected to be. But sure, it could be rebellion, but it's not about. It's not a. That's a.
There's peer pressure, like classically defined. They're definitely peer pressuring her in a sense. But it's also,
but they also,
through the benefit of being a crafted story by storytellers, it is being done to push her, to be someone that she's maybe repressing.
And also, I will say too, you know what they do at the party whenever she's like, I don't know about this, they're like, we'll figure it out some other way. They definitely don't. They definitely make it her choice, which is part of the storytelling. Whenever she. Like that's part of the storytelling. That's a good thing where it's like it's her choice and then she abandons her friends and says it's their choice. So it's like, yeah.
The ritual is super freaky where she's levitated by her chest into the air while surrounded by adults chanting spirits called out. I have no comment. If you don't
no
like
comment.
That's
get whatever.
I don't know what you're picking up from that, but we've seen that a million times in movies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in like Brave when there's the bear transformation. I don't like. I don't know.
There's lots of stuff. Like, okay, you're weird.
She tells her Tamagotchi it's about to meet its daddy and uncles, referring to band members being her Tamagotchi's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's getting redundant. It's the same stuff. There's a big scene about the girl getting her period, and her mom brings pads for embarrassing her. Like, no, like that. Like you're
get it out, John.
That's being taboo. Like if
don't make it taboo. Make it easy. Make it easy. Make it accessible.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like this, I feel like what they want is making it taboo. I thought that's what taboo means, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Taboo means it's normalized. Okay.
No.
What?
No.
You're making me question words.
No. I'm just saying it's like they're making. I'm agreeing with you. They're making it taboo, and we want it to be normalized and be accessible.
Yeah. You can get this next one because it's about related to the mom character.
I got it. The little girl draws, quote unquote, sexy. Her words, not mine. Pictures of her crush who works at the gas station. Her mom finds the drawings of her shirtless crush and brings them to the store and accuses the boy of being 30 and a pedophile. He says he's 17, and she says, well, that's what happens when you do drugs all day and don't wear sunscreen. Great joke. just a great joke. It's a funny joke, and it's like we're illustrating there the over-the-top nature of the mom's protectiveness. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't want your 5-year-old regurgitating that line because it's weird, but that's the only, like, I don't know I'm not a parent, so it's hard. I'm sure.
Yeah. I
could say I know who I am the moment I'm holding this child in my hands that I theoretically will have.
Yeah.
Like I know that walk, like, or I know that notion that I know who I am, how I'm going to parent, will definitely probably change. So I'm like, I don't know. This is more just, it's entertaining, and It's just giving us something to talk about.
It's just like this is. I mean, that's just a good joke. At the end, the girl stands up to her mom and she says she likes boys' music and gyrating. She says she's 13, so deal with it. Like this, she's just listing stuff that happens in the movie. The little girl then starts twerking at her mom and smacking her butt, saying, "Take this, mom, take this."
And that's something kids will do already. I think that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
Again, like
it's because it's over the top.
There's a protecting of your children that's, and I witnessed growing up with like my peers, and also, I feel like a lot of people. I don't know. Like I guess that's just the change when there's a baby in their hands and someone they're raising. I don't know, because everyone's lived these lives in theory. You know, they've been out there.
Yeah.
They remember themselves and their contemporaries in school. Like you can't manufacture this setting as much as you think you can. And drawing a line at a movie like this and all these pretty mundane things is just interesting.
Or these things
that quote when
that just happen. No, I mean it's just like this is just I don't know. It's just it's a fascinating take. Where it's just like, and it doesn't, I don't know. I guess it's not really, it's just like things out of context. I don't know. It's pretty stupid. Give us the
final one. Is a final quote when the little girl decides to turn into a panda in public and her mom asks her not to. She says, "My panda, my choice. Read into that how you would like." I mean, I think the subtext there is they're insinuating a commentary on gender identity and or sexual orientation is what they're trying to pull from that.
And it's not a stretch that you're like, it's funny because it's like all of the things that they've pointed out. I think that's what what grinds my gears about this take in general is because all of the things that they pointed out are like things that I think make the movie good because they sort of like just demystifying stuff in general and like making things accessible and people aware at like in a way that is making kids aware of ideas and concepts in a way that's accessible to them is important for the conversation and knowledge so that people grow better, you know, so that and
there's only so much you can guide and cater and protect, you know, and I think something like this maybe could be welcomed because it is accessible, you know, like it introduces these ideas in a way that is catered or is catered, what's the word? I guess catered to it, like or like it's through Disney, you know. So it's of course it's going to be okay for kids ultimately, for families, and so it's a good medium for introducing topics and conversations, you know. And hey, maybe if you disagree with all these things and you have certain feelings, I say don't shelter your kid and you watch it and you talk about it, you know. You know, you don't have to agree with these things, you know, even if there's a lot of big yikes here for me personally, but like, you know, it should be a conversation. Like I think the disparity here is there's one side that doesn't trust their child, doesn't respect autonomy, you know, and individualism. It's a control. I don't know. Again, I'm not a parent. I shouldn't be talking about other parents and how they feel about their kids, but
I mean,
I just disagree with it from watching the art form of this story, and then this take. And so it's I keep disclaiming myself, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, both of us, 2 30-year-old white dudes, fucking
no kids,
and
I will to give the disclaimer that they said that it said, maybe none of this is a big deal to you. That's okay. No judgment here. If you love the movie, I encourage you to watch it. If you have the time, make your own judgment. I was just caught off guard while watching it and explaining these things to my children in the moment and why we don't agree with them. If I had known all this, we would have just skipped it all together, enjoyed a different lighthearted movie. It seems this one was intended for teenagers, although I still don't agree with the message for teens. But Disney did not brand this movie for teens, and my littles were so excited to watch it. I think also, again, this is out of bounds, but I like between the person who reshared this and the person who posted this, it sounds like they have kids who aren't at that point yet, and it might be bringing up some anxieties about the fantasy and awesome dope tight dependent relationship they have with their child now will change, you know? And what if maybe there's an aversion there? I don't know. Psychologically speaking.
Listen, Dr. John.
Anthropologically speaking, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. But do you agree?
I do agree. I mean, because you're probably talking about relatively young moms who don't necessarily, who think that they have more time before their kids get to the age that they have to deal with that, you know? Again, complete conjecture. I literally have no idea, but I would say that that's a fair assumption to come to, even though we all know assumptions make us everyone stupid. We should just be honest and stuff. I think this is it's a movie that I think is good. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I hope it didn't annoy anyone or piss them off. Again, we're not here to tell you to parent your kids. I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to respond to it because it was so fun.
Yeah.
And interesting. But it's also
I just think it's like,
it's also super taboo to talk about parenting and other people parenting. You know, I get that. I understand that. And even if you agreed with me and maybe it makes you feel icky that we're saying these things, you know, I get that too. That's why I'm disclaiming it. But I think it made for good content because it went viral for a reason.
It's very fascinating because I don't know. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a fun movie that has, I think it just, you know, it just feels good. I like it. Did you know that Billie Eilish and Phineas wrote those songs, the Four Town songs?
Oh, no. That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess close it out. Do you think... again, I'm not the receiver of the marketing, so I don't know how it was marketed. So I guess I can't say, and you're probably under the same line. But do you think that is do you think there was a misdirection by Disney? Even just by it existing, you know, being a Pixar Disney film.
I think...
Any comment on that?
I mean, I think that they messed up by not giving it a theatrical release. Because I know that there was a big stink about that where they minimized it, and so they think they did Disney Plus and theatrical, and I feel like that, I don't know, I could kind of go either way with it, because I know that I think the creators of the movie were like, oh, we should have gotten a theatrical release, and I kind of agree with that. I also think it was probably under marketed. Do you mean like the marketing in terms of like it's for teens?
Yeah, in terms of the feeling, because I don't think people have an issue with it. I think maybe there's a misdirection. Some parents with younger kids feel.
I mean, I think that. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, that's a tough question for me to answer just because I don't have young kids. Because for me, I feel like it's like, here's what it was like, well, just, you know, just get to that conversation, you know, but like move, like, just like, it doesn't feel like it needs to be as big of a deal as you're making it. But I also know that kids are pretty intense when it comes to asking why. And it's kind of hard to get out of that conversation. Or I could see it being hard to get out of that conversation.
Especially if you don't
feel ready.
If you disagree with what you're seeing and you don't know how to word that, you know.
Yeah.
Because to to a kid, there's no reason for them to think something's unacceptable or something.
But I also,
there's colorful, fun-looking kind of cartoon characters doing things, and it's okay,
Yeah.
So why isn't that okay?
I just think it's a fun animated movie, really, when it comes down to it, and that's how I would sell it as such. But I can't say that I don't understand, I guess, because the theming is so tight, and I think that's what makes it good for me, a 30-year-old man. And I could see how that might be problematic or whatever, but I also think that you should, you're going to have to talk eventually. You have to figure.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's that heavy. I just don't think it's that heavy.
Yeah, because it's also maybe we're giving too much credence to this. It's not that big of a deal, but also again, can we say that because we don't have kids? I don't know. It's a weird thing, and then I think ultimately the thing that we said the most is the stuff in this movie is in a lot of other movies.
Yeah,
and other movies that were animated. Bunch of kids saw Shrek because they thought it was just a kids movie, but
there's a lot of stuff in there for adults.
But yeah. The Incredibles has tons of adult jokes in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it's weird.
It's a strange one. It's a strange one.
But to each their own, I suppose.
Live your life.
So would you give the movie?
I give this movie 3.5. I'll give it 3.5 dumplings. God, that food looks so good. Oh man.
There's a dumpling bar downtown here. Oh, so good.
How dare you?
Tons of dumplings. Yeah.
3.5 dumplings because I ate it. I ate the other one.
I gave it 4 initially, and I gave it 4.5 after discussing it.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed it, and I have no issues with it. So it's 4 felt a little bit low, but it didn't deserve 5. So
yeah,
that's my reason.
What you been watching, bud?
I watched Avengers and Ant-Man, Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. Just doing my thing with those movies, kind of good background movies.
Throw them on in the BG.
I don't dislike Age of Ultron as much as other people do. I don't dislike the popular movies that people dislike. I don't dislike them as much as people do.
Yeah,
Thor 2, definitely not great, but it's not abysmal to me. It's not I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 is the same way. I remember, I know that everybody went to go see it in theaters because we were excited about Iron Man 3, but I think that in retrospect, it's better than we thought, but it's still not the best.
There's no movie that I wouldn't rewatch on a watch through of all of them. The most reluctant I'll be is Ant-Man 2, actually. That's, for me, that is my most reluctant one. I don't know.
Okay.
What have you watched?
I've been watching I've watched The Dropout. I haven't finished The Dropout. I've started a couple of those high profile shows, like The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried. I watched a couple episodes of that. I watched
Our Flag Means Death. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I've watched an episode of Our Flag Means Death. I've watched a couple episodes of The Thing About Pam, which is a very frustrating show because I fucking hate that lady. Just watching her, Renee Zellweger does such a good job, and it's only 3 episodes in now, and it's I fucking hate this lady.
Oh, the character you hate?
Yeah. Not Renee Zellweger. She's doing a great job, I guess, of making me hate her.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I feel like there was something else, but because it's shows, I'm I can't, and I also forgot that Letterboxd existed for the past 15 days. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
It's such a habit for me now. It's within 10 minutes.
I forgot to log Turning Red.
21 days in a row takes to make a habit. That's what they say.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening and watching if you watched. We got Stinky Popcorn Boys merch
Yeah, we
someone
got
bought
some
something.
shirts.
Nice. Someone bought a shirt today.
Ooh, hell yeah.
They don't fly off the shelves. Obviously, this is a kind of small podcast, us hanging out.
Yeah.
So that's the joke.
We're just
But please,
that's the joke right there.
There's a handful left. I think of almost every size still, and it's there. It's a fun shirt. It's a fun yellow shirt.
It's a good
Find
color.
it at jtmerch.com. Yeah.
jtmerch.com. That's jtmerch.com.
Nice. Good job.
Thanks, man.
That's a good
I'm
little tryout for an ad read.
Thanks. I'm doing what I can. You know what? If you got ads you want us to read, even pretend ads. Put pretend ads, and we'll put them at the end, or we'll put them in the middle. You know, we'll just to practice, because it's coming soon.
Yeah.
Audible.com is going to come for us. You know what I love listening to on Audible.com? I love listening to just like there's a book of the verbalizations of people breathing. So
There's that's like whenever someone's told to do something like a master class or an Audible, it's always like blah blah blah, brought to you by Audible. And I've been getting really into the blank, insert blank, and I've been getting really into blank, and I don't know.
Yep.
It's like
I've been really getting
it's funny
into
how
the gardening section of masterclass. But yeah, we've got a code. We've got a code for masterclass. Just do real stinky /masterclass.com.
Real stinky. Dang, if this takes off, that's our bonus, or that's our coupon name is real stinky.
Real stinky.
And then I'm not criticizing sponsorships or anything like that.
No, but it is funny.
Go get your
I know.
bread. I've done it many
bread.
times myself. I'm just
Hell yeah,
just
dude.
just commenting on it. But anyways, thank you guys for listening.
And you know what?
You got anything to say?
As
what they say in
Toronto. As they say in Toronto, Drake. Six God. Drake. Toronto Raptors. How was that?
Good. I didn't put the Raptors reference in there. I didn't understand. I thought we were going to go for Tim Hortons thing, but
Oh. Tim Hortons. You could just stitch that in there somewhere.
Toronto runs on Tim.
Toronto runs on Tim. Oh, I can't do it.
Bye.
Bye.